guys, welcome back to Swero TV. I'm Loretta Akpata, your usual host. We are continuing with a series of basic accounting for business leaders as well as the tech series. We have been I've been making a tech series for the past 2 weeks. This is the third one. This is the final one actually. This is just for you to, because it is tech season in Botswana as we speak. What tax season means is that once the tax year ends, because it starts from July to 30th of June the next year, 1st July last year to 30th of June. So once that tax year ends, it means tax season starts. We have end of year taxes that we need to be submitting, as well as other taxes that we need to be also observing monthly. So today we are going to be talking about VAT. All right, just a disclaimer, this information that we are actually sharing is basic accounting for business leaders. It's so basic, nothing technical about it. We have tried to simplify it as far as possible. If you need help with your accounting, please, we encourage and advise that you actually hire an accountant to help you with your accounting. This one is just for you to understand what your accountant is doing. All right, so it is not information for you to necessarily use to start doing your accounting when you're not an accountant. Okay, so it's very, very important because it is technical. There's nothing easy about accounting. We need to be able to respect professions, because this one is very, it can get very technical. Kindly ask your accountant, or you can hire us as well. We will help you with your accounting and tax consulting needs. Also, if you need more technical advice on the tax as well, kindly drop us an inbox or hire a tax consultant to help you with other technical tax calculations, because they do get technical. Hence, I'm only mentioning the basic ones that will affect a business so that you can basically understand. But there are many more taxes that you need to be knowing, but they get complicated, so you need us to be having a face-to-face and we explain to you, okay, so that you can ask the questions and we can explain to you. All right, now that aside, let's continue with our series for today. Today we're discussing VAT. All right, what is VAT? VAT is value added tax. Basically, this is just tax on goods and services. You are either going to pay it or you are going to charge it as a supplier, right, or as a business. So VAT in Botswana is levied at 12% on goods and services, as well as importing of goods and services that we're bringing into the country. All right, there's a threshold. As a business, BRS a couple of years ago introduced that not every business can charge VAT because of the administration behind it. You need to be making a certain amount of money for you to be registered for VAT. If you are, and that is 1 million pula per year. If you are not making a revenue of 1 million pula per year, you should be deregistered for VAT. You should go deregister yourself for VAT, because you should not be charging VAT. There is, however, a voluntary registration. You should be making 500,000 pula or more per year. You can actually engage the BRS and they can have a conversation about that and probably allow you to voluntarily register for VAT as a business, because of valid reasons that will be applicable for them. Okay, so this is what you need to understand. Now, what my concern is as well is that we have seen and experienced some businesses actually charging VAT when they should not be charging VAT in the first place. If you are not registered for VAT with BRS and you are not making 1 million pula and above, you should not be charging VAT to your customers. That is fraud, because you are busy collecting money on behalf of BRS and you are not going to be paying BRS that money. Okay, so it's actually now you're both basically doing fraud on BRS as well as your customers. So try not to do that, because it's actually wrong and it can end up getting you into trouble, especially when you end up facing a customer that knows you should not be charging VAT. Okay, that is a very important part that I also wanted to mention. Now, how does VAT work? When you actually now go submit at BRS, how does it work? Basically, VAT is when you charge VAT to your customers, that 12%, let's say you are charging your customer 5,000 for your service or for your goods, okay, and you are registered for VAT, let's stress that point, and you are registered for VAT and you are charging 12%, that 12% is not yours, it belongs to BURS, okay. As well as you are also going to buy goods and services, you are going to be paying VAT, okay. That VAT does not belong to that business, it belongs to BURS. So what is happening when you submit to BURS, there is a form that is available. It will show you, it will just on the form on the form of BRS, there will be a part that says what is your turnover, how much did you make on basically the taxable VAT turnover, okay, the taxable turnover that you've actually made. It will show you how much turnover did you make and how much supplies did you buy that are VAT payable as well. So what will the form do? It will just basically calculate it. It will calculate the VAT that you have collected versus the VAT that you have paid. That will either show you that you are going to have to pay BRS the VAT, or you are going to claim VAT. Maybe you have actually paid more than you have collected. Okay, so that is where it actually just comes in. You just need to make sure that you submit. And when is it due? It is due on the 25th of every month. Some businesses it's actually on every 2 months, depending on the size and the revenue you are making, but it's always on the 25th of that particular month. That's when it's due. It would be best that you actually start submitting before the 25th, so that in case you encounter any problems, at least you have managed to have enough time, not do it on the day of the deadline. All right, so basically value-added tax rates, it is actually divided into 3 categories, okay. VAT, there is the standard rate, which is on goods and services, it is 12%, and then there is also VAT that is actually zero rated on supplies and goods and services. There are some that are zero rated, and there are some goods and services that are also exempted from VAT altogether. I will be listing them down for you. Now, which one are the zero rated supplies that should not be charged VAT? There will be 0% on them. Exports of goods and services, if you are exporting your goods and services, you should not be charging VAT on them, okay. And international transport services as well, if you are offering international transport, you should not be charging VAT as well. There's also actually goods that are actually tax exempted, VAT tax exempted. When you actually go into the shops, you should know that you should not be paying VAT on these, or if you are supplying these, you should not be charging VAT on them. And these are the following. These are sorghum, maize meal, millet, sugar, flour, and this is in the original state, not when there's a mixes. You know those readily mixed flours, like for example there's a pancake mix or there's a muffin mix. No, those ones will be charged VAT. It just have to be on their original on that original state, or that natural state, if it's natural flour or if it's natural maize. That's how it should be, not when it's now getting complicated and making it all fancy. Okay, that's what it means. And also fertilizers for farming purposes, such as pesticides and farming tractors as well. So those should not be charged VAT as well when you buy them or if you are selling them, okay. And supplies to the head of state, those also shouldn't be charged VAT, okay. Now, which ones are exempted from VAT altogether? These are prescription of drugs and condoms. If you're actually supplying drugs and condoms, you should not be charging VAT on them. You should also know, if you're a customer, you should not be paying VAT on them. Residential accommodation, if you're offering residential accommodation, you should not be charging VAT on it. As well as if you are actually a tenant, you should not be paying VAT on residential accommodation. Education at approved institutions, education is exempted from VAT as well at approved institutions. Public medical services is also tax exempted as well, VAT exempted. Non-fee based financial based services as well, those are also tax exempted. Passenger transport, excluding transportation of tourists apparently. This is passenger transport. Basically, if you are, I don't know, if you are using public transport, you should not be paying VAT on it, excluding transportation of tourists. So if you are actually in a business of transporting tourists, you should be charging VAT for that one. Donations and grants are exempted from VAT. All farming equipment is exempted from VAT, and supply of tractors acquired for farming business is also exempted from VAT. So you should be knowing this knowledge, especially as a business owner. What should I be charging VAT on, or what should I be paying VAT on as a business owner, or even as an individual? You should be knowing these things. Okay, I hope this was informative for you to help you run your business as far as possible in terms of the taxes that are required for you to be aware of. There are many more other taxes that you should know about, and please give us a call if you need us, or just drop us an inbox if you need us to answer any questions about taxes. And if you need help with your tax returns as a business, we are here for you. Let us help you. It is super important for you to know this information as a business owner. This was basic. I hope this was clear and understandable. I will wish you all the best in everything that you do. You should stay well, stay safe, and goodbye for now.